Hello, this is Jcamera here, and today we're going to be taking a look at Lego Harry Potter 4709, released in 2001, originally retailing for $90 in US currency. Age range is 8 to 12 years old. This is the Hogwarts Castle, and here is the box. It has the old school middle-aged castle background, and we have little kid Daniel Radcliffe as Harry Potter there for the movie, because these sets were released to coincide with the Philosopher's Stone movie, or Sorcerer's Stone for you Americans. So this box is huge. We have the little accessories and Dumbledore here, and pieces rarer and made specifically to the set. And we get an image of the Golden Trio on their boat on their way to the Hogwarts Castle. And there's Rubius Hagrid there, the Harry Potter logo in that sweet gold color. Yeah, I really love the night sky detailing with like the sun setting. That looks really cool. This is a used box, judging by this, if it's anything to go by. On the side, we've got the set number. We get little character scenarios. And we get even more of it, just with different parts of the set. And here is the back of the box, where we get Hermione and Dumbledore looking through some books and Snape looking at him. And we get different views of the set. We have two of the alternate builds that you'll see in the instructions. Advertisements for the rest of the 2001 wave of sets. And I think, 3 alternate builds. What you see up here is this little circle. This is meant to hold those rarer pieces that you see up on top. And you open the box just by flipping this up. And up here you can see even more of the play features and artwork seen before. And I really like that way they went all out with the box here, of the detailing, with the stone bricks in the Middle Ages, like medieval castles, in this warm color. I don't know what color it is, like a brown, but there's the big box. Here we've got the instructions, which you flip this way, and you have all the minifigures, or most of the minifigures. 7 out of 9 minifigures that we'll be taking a look at can be seen here, and go through different builds, smallest to biggest, and you'll see with some of them that there's like minifigures you build later, because I guess they're not traditional minifigures, or at least intended to be traditional figures. And like they're very gimmicky for the set. And we even get instructions on the alternate build, and an advertisement for Lego Creator, a little video game that came out back in the day. And here I came with this poster. This is different from the ones up here with the 2001 sets from both the theme and others. This is the early 2002 Harry Potter sets in addition, with the Sorcerer's Stone, Philosopher's Stone sets released, with Flying Lesson, Troll on the Loose, and Gringotts Bank. And we have different advertisements here, which is really neat. And they're even incorporated onto here, though I find it very lazy that we have 2 Draco Malfoys. Then again, we did get 2 different Peeves. Sloppy, if you ask me. Now, we shall take a look at the minifigures. First up, we have the boy who lived himself, Harry Potter, with the Invisibility Cloak variant in this, I think, discontinued blue, or like a shade of purple. I'm not really sure. And he comes with the scarlet and gold printing, or burgundy printing on the light grey, yellow printing. There's no back printing on him, nor is there back head printing. And he comes with a big brown wand. And he also comes with the broomstick as an accessory. But I usually just consider wands to be the accessories for my Harry Potter figures and nothing else. That might change in the future, but that's just me. And he appears in the Forbidden Corridor set, and another set from 2001, Hogwarts Classrooms, I think, one of those weird color sets. So yeah, been there, done that for the minifigure, so nothing new to say here. Next we have Ron Bilious Weasley, who is a very common minifigure, particularly in this wave. Just in 2001 alone, he appears in 4 sets. If including just this figure in general, 5 sets. He appeared in a set in 2002 as well. He appears in all the sets, well, not all the sets I've looked at so far, but most of his appearances I looked at in sets so far with the Potions Classroom, Chamber of the Winged Keys, and the Forbidden Corridor sets. In 2002, he was in the Chamber of Secrets set. He comes with a light grey wand, inaccurate to the film, but I like that it's diverse. Just like Harry, he is no different in terms of printing, like exactly the same with the Gryffindor shield torso, and lack of printing on the back of his head or torso. I should also mention that him, Hermione, and Draco include these starry capes with the big copyright symbol, which makes these figures feel very special and unique. A very classic old school charm that 2001 captured that, as great as the figures of LEGO are now, they don't necessarily have. Next up is Hermonie Granger, who, again, like Harry and Ron, is exactly the same with the Gryffindor school uniform. But, of course, her head and hair is different. Though, again, there's no back printing. Cool starry cape just like him. She has a tan wand, which is accurate to what LEGO has in the sets now, funnily enough. This variant only appears in one other set, the Forbidden Corridor. I think she also appears in a minifigure pack, but how many people care about those? I don't know anybody online that ever collected them. Regardless, this is a pretty good attempt at the figure. Obviously, LEGO wasn't quite sure how to design women for their LEGO minifigures. But I still think this was a good job. Maybe not perfectly like Emma Watson in the movie, but still. Next up, we have Draco, who's actually different from the others. Like, he has pretty much the same style with the same cape, but he has a Slytherin torso instead of Gryffindor, with green and silver, which is really nice. And he has the generic blonde hair, which fits the character pretty well. Like, maybe not perfectly like nowadays, but for back then, I think it was perfect. Has a very good smear face, and his eyes, I mean, the other 3 faces are really good, but I don't know if it's just me, but Draco's eyes are a little bit more prominent. Like, they do pop out a little bit more. He has a black wand, which is accurate to the film, and again, accurate to modern LEGO. Again, he has no back or head printing. This is the first set I've actually got him in, which is really nice. He appears in 4 sets total. Another set, which was one of those 3 sets that released in 2002, but based on the first book or film with Flying Lesson. But he also appears in 2 Chamber of Secrets sets with Dueling Club and Slytherin. And I like that they included a new character for the first time. Because one problem I have with the figure sets is that they just recycled and combined the majority of figures from this previous year to use, but Draco was the only real exclusive and new addition, which I like. I would have liked it if they had some Hufflepuffs and Ravenclaws or Gryffindors that we never gotten before, and maybe even other Slytherins, but I'll take what I can get. Next up, we have Albus Dumbledore, or Professor Dumbledore. This is a very cool figure with leg printing, one of only 2 minifigures in the set to include printing on the legs. However, there's still no back head printing or back torso printing. I really like the purple they use. It's the old discontinued purple color, which looks a bit pinkish compared to a modern purple, but Bricklink and all the LEGO sites list the modern purple as dark purple, so I guess this is true purple. And I like that this makes him, like Dumbledore, look very colorful and unique, and more accurate to the books as well, because I think there was like some merchandise released before the film was being made, and like they just worked off images of the book or even concept art, and this is what he would look like. I think there's a statue somewhere. Like, Richard Harris's outfit looks very cool too, with the burgundy and gold. Michael Gambon's, it's alright, but not as colourful. And he has the old beard piece and hair piece. And, of course, a nice cape. Next is the other minifigure that includes leg printing, Severus Snape, or Professor Snape. He's the only human minifigure to not include yellow skin, instead being a light grey with a glow and a dark head. I can't show you because I haven't charged his head up in the light, but yes, it does glow in the dark. I don't remember if I checked in my Snape's Potions Classroom review. I forget, but regardless, he can do that. He has no back printing on the head or torso, despite the hip and leg printing. And I like the really dark purple with the dark grey lines as contrast. Works really well. And just like Dumbledore, you can see in the promotional, like, those statues. I think someone made a video on the internet somewhere showing the statues and book accurate. And like how Dumbledore was purple, Snape was like pale. I really like that, because these sets, obviously they were based on the films, but debatably just as equally based on the books. Like, I find this really cool. Very weird, and I can see why someone wouldn't like this, but it does look very nice with great printing, particularly his expression on the face, and use of the hair color works really well. Very interesting product of 2001. I should also mention that he appears in that set and the Dueling Club. I want to apologize for the light thing I just did while talking about the Snape minifigure. Going back on track, here is Rubeus Hagrid, who is, I guess, the earliest version of a big fig we ever got. And this fits Hagrid perfect to a T, because I think the modern one looks like crap, just to put it bluntly. This is better. I think the 2010 Hagrid and 2004 Hagrid are better, but this is better than that as well. I love the red and burgundy printing here, the silver belt buckle, and this beard piece, which reveals just a usual minifig head. I like that they took the risk to Hagrid and make him book accurate, with bigger feet, actual fingers on the hands, and like stitching, pockets, and all that, making him feel bigger, because he shouldn't be a regular figure. I really like that. And both him and Dumbledore appeared in a Hagrid's Hut set. I've got to mention Dumbledore, he appears in a Dumbledore's Office set in 2002. And Hagrid appears in the Gringotts set. For the penultimate minifigure in the set, we have Peeves the Poltergeist, who was meant to be in the Philosopher's Stone, but was cut last minute. Like, the actor who played him took his family to see the film, and he was like disappointed and surprised that he didn't make the final cut. But here he is, and I think he was accurate to what he looks like in the deleted scenes, minus hair. But it's fine. It's cool that we get a ghost minifigure. He appears in the Potions Classroom set. I'll admit I do wish we had a different ghost instead, like maybe Nearly Headless Nick. I mean, it's John Cleese, come on, or the Fat Friar, Bloody Baron, just someone else maybe, because it's weird that The only ghost that, or even Professor Binns is another book reference and another character and minifigure. That would be cool. But all we get is one character that was cut from the films. I mean, I'm glad that we got not obscure book reference, because any Harry Potter book fan would know who he is, but for book fans, this is a neat reference. I do kind of like the face print and torso print, but this figure is probably one of the weaker ones, but kind of a guilty pleasure, though that might just be biased towards these sets or something, I don't know. And up last, and probably least, to be honest, is the Gryffindor Knight. I'll say right now the best part of the figure is the accessories with the sword, and especially this Gryffindor shield with the burgundy and gold printing, especially the gold. Like, you gotta be careful finding these in good condition. I was lucky, but I've seen some reviews that aren't as lucky, but this is cool. This appears, I think, in one other set in 2004 with the second Hogwarts Castle set, but it's nice to have here. He has the knight helmet piece and knight armor. He has Peeves' head, so maybe Peeves is possessing this or something. I don't know, or maybe just LEGO wanted to show they're not completely lazy, even at this point in time of figures. He doesn't have any torso printing, though. I think some people, at least I saw someone using Peeves' torso in there. I'm pretty sure that's wrong, though. I'm 99% sure, correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, so I think Peeves is just possessing it, or maybe some other ghost. Who knows? But it is a nice, fine addition to the 9 minifigure lineup, and he does have a function that I'll get to later in this set. I should also mention that the parts you can get from other sets, but just getting this combination as a figure, I think is exclusive to this set. Definitely for Harry Potter, but I'm pretty sure he's exclusive. Next up, we move on to the builds. Starting with the smallest build is this little boat here, which is made up of mostly one piece, but it's got a few others in here. I like that there's a lot of space, so you can put in, say, Hagrid up the front, and you can put in some of the students. You do have to be careful about the capes, and most likely remove their wands, but like, let me just show yous. Like, yeah. I don't know if 4's the limit, but you can fit in quite a few minifigures, which is really nice. And we have this sort of obstacle for the boat, something it can go under. Maybe it's just for show, or perhaps even the boathouse, which we never really gotten as a set until recently. But here it is. We got a couple of flames, and we have this stone piece, which is very common throughout the set, as well as flames. And we get this ugly rock piece, which is discontinued and retired, and we see this later in this set. We have a little turret, which, again, we see later. Yeah, you'll see some recycled elements in this set, which it works, but just a thought I have. And it uses a lot of tan, like, sand green pieces, which works really well, honestly, really good. And I guess you can kind of hide some secrets in here, though, how it's positioned, it's kind of hard to do. I've got, like, very few notes on the set, but there it is. Then we get to the Gryffindor Tower with multiple parts to it. First off, we have this piece with the aforementioned recycled turret, one of 3 we see. This can be removed here, and you see an owlery. We can fit a couple of owls here. And there's, like, not much in here. It's just there for decoration. And the set includes 4 owls, I should mention. We have 2 there. We have a chocolate brown owl here in the Great Hall that I'll get to later. And we have a stone, like, we get a dark grey owl here, which could just be a statue of how it's placed, though it's probably just an actual owl. a black owl which appears in the final challenge set, and a white owl which appears in a Sorting Hat set. And this owl here is more likely than not Hedwig. And they've got no printing on them, I should note. This here is on a hinge because this piece here has a little string and you're meant to rotate this. I just do it like that because that's just who I am, but we have this little fireplace. Maybe students are heating up there, or I don't know, but you can reveal this to see an invisible treasure chest, which is a pretty rare Lego piece, and we get a couple of diamonds. And we see here, we've got the library. Let me just put this little turret back on. And we actually got more of these. You can put maybe more owls there. I don't know. I haven't tried it, and I don't remember if other people do, but regardless, I guess it's an option. We have this magnifying glass in purple, which is really cool. And it actually works, because you can see it's zooming in on the bookshelf. If I move this staircase out of the way, we have this little desk here and some book tiles. The set's only meant to include one. You're supposed to only use one, but mine came with two. I think it might be a spare. I'm not sure, but this could be like if they can borrow library books, or like security on the books, or something library related. That's what matters. You just need one to get stuff done, but I like that it's here. And they just sit here loosely, and you can slide it in, slide it out. You could even put these in the aforementioned books. But before I get to that, you'll see these pieces, again, recycled. Told you they'd be here, as well as a couple of flames. That you can actually push this back. Like, let me just move this out of the way. You can have this tip over. Maybe you can have, say, Peeves crashing in here. Who knows? Or maybe one of the students just throws it all out. The set comes with 4 books, but this little library part comes with 3. I'll get to the third one later, but we have here a red herbology book, which appears in several sets. Like, it's in the Snape's Classroom set, or Potions Classroom as I call it. Speaking of potions, here's a green potions book, which appeared in the last set I reviewed, the Hogwarts Express. And it appears in some other sets as well. This book, I'm pretty sure, is exclusive to this set. I'm 99% sure. It's a black book. The one in the movie that Harry finds in the restricted section with that face. Of course, they can't put it on the inside, but they have it on the inside to represent that. That's a cute little Easter egg, I believe. And you can just put them on back in. And if you look at the shelf, there is room that you can put in some more books. But I don't think most people do that. But if you want to, you can. It's an option. And here's this grand staircase, or maybe it's just the one in the Gryffindor common room. But this is probably the closest Lego could do. I'll admit, these are kind of annoying. Like, they can make up a wall, that's cool, but I don't know, these are a little irritating to me. Like, I prefer it when it's all still. That might just be a me thing, but regardless, you can have them, like, spread out through here. And then we get to the portrait of the fat lady, which is done in an interesting Lego color, but it is very strange that she's not minifigure-esque. Again, Lego was very interesting back in the day, and weird and strange. Let's just put it that way. And you can put a minifigure on there and then switch it on around. Let me just take... I'll put Dumbledore in here, because, like, he was a Gryffindor student, I think. But regardless, yeah, you can just put him in here like so. Yeah, I just really like playing with this thing. Of course, be careful, because these things definitely are capable of breaking. And then we have a secret that the knight is supposed to be holding, and this is the purpose it served before. If I can just put it on there. Yep. And you can switch them on around and reveal another diamond. I don't know if I put the figure in properly. I probably didn't, but you get the idea. And you have this lever here, which reveals the next secret. You see a few potion bottles, maybe potions homework, and then you pull this here, and you reveal a secret, which is a chrome gold key. And this is used by a red chain. And you have a little, like, balcony here, which is really cool. You can also maybe put one of the roofs there. I've done it for my Hogwarts, because the modular system, you have to mix and match a little bit, just so there's no spare parts lying around. Which I'll get to later in the video, but... And up here, we have the roof, which can come off very easily, and it comes with a grey flag. Not at all Gryffindor-esque, but it's there. If we take this off, we got a telescope for astronomy. Maybe it's an astronomy lesson or astronomy homework. I think it's most likely astronomy homework, though. And then we have the book I was referring to earlier, which is just in a baby blue color with no printing. I think it's just a homework book. Maybe it's even an astronomy book. I don't know. And if you open it up, you see there's a magical tile in trans dark blue and gold printing stars on there. The other books have nothing inside of them. I'm pretty sure I already said, but just in case. And how many floors is this? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 levels. This part can come off if you really want to, so you can put something else of Hogwarts in there, but it is mostly designed for this, and I doubt anybody has changed it or wants to. And that's the tower. And here is the final part of the Hogwarts Castle that comes in a set, the Great Hall. So this is the ugly rock I was referring to earlier. Here it is. And here is another turret. This cannot be removed, unlike the other one. And you get a couple of flames. I really like the outside. In fact, this whole set actually looks like it's semi-complete, which cannot necessarily be said for most of the other modular Hogwarts sets in that way, besides maybe the potions classroom. And you can hold things here as well. Like, I personally just put in the broom, because I don't count it as an accessory when I'm storing my minifigures, but regardless, that's there. You got a couple of bats. Most could be there for decoration or creatures, but possibly to hide these paper roofs, which we saw in a Hagrid's Hut set, and these ones are far better. It does take a bit for me to put them in place, though. I don't know if it's just me, but I used like an hour or two to hold these back, but I'm not going to show you how I did it, but anyway, we got these really thick pillars here that look really strong. And here we got a little fireplace here. And you can remove this to show a little diamond and another chrome gold key. And we have a student table with a couple of goblets and a letter. Maybe it's a howler, I don't know, but... And we have a Dumbledore chocolate frog card, which was also in a Hogwarts Express set, but in a dark grey tile. This is now in black. We have a little rat here that could be Scabbers or Scabbers, aka Wormtail, but it's never specified. We have the table for the staff in the same colours as Dumbledore, the headmaster. And here's the headmaster's chair. I will admit, I do wish this Great Hall was a lot bigger so we could have at least 2 more chairs and tables for the other teachers and maybe even another one for the students. It's very weird, but I'm glad that we got it at all and we got it in the first wave. I guess I appreciate that. And it comes with more secrets if you lift up the chair with 2 light grey keys and a magical bag, which is very common throughout these sets, like the magical tile in that blue book. And I think this is the first time we're seeing both of them, and we're seeing them a lot more throughout the Harry Potter sets. We have these lion heads here, which look really cool, but they do kind of give off a bias towards Gryffindor, though. People have really made fun of Dumbledore in memes with how he's biased towards Gryffindor, and I think Lego might have been in on the joke too. Because, like, to Lego back then, Hufflepuff and Ravenclaw kind of don't exist. But in fact, in the films in the first 2, and even the books kind of treat it like that anyway. And here is the chimney, and this is one of the purposes Peeves fills, where he's meant to hide in here, and like during like the feast, he can come out and have fun. Or again, maybe it's not Peeves, it's some other ghost, but come on, it's Peeves. We have some candles lit here in translucent pieces, which is really cool. We have a little prophecy thing. I think it's meant to be a nimbrel for Neville Longbottom, but it could be a prophecy thing or part of the night sky. Who knows? And we get a white rat here, 2 rats for owls. And here we have the final real play technique with the Hogwarts banners. So you can flip this on over and have a different house. So it's like the winner of the House Cup for most points is Slytherin, and then last minute he changes it to Gryffindor, so you can switch it to that. That's a really cool feature. I'm glad it was there from the beginning. A bit sad there was no Hufflepuff or Ravenclaw representation, but again, doesn't really exist. And in the first film, like how it works out is that Slytherin wins, and then Dumbledore hands out the last minute points to Gryffindor because of bias and memes and stuff. So it's Gryffindor, of course. But regardless, you can know that it's something you can do. And you can also hide some other secrets there if you really want to, but I just keep the little ball thing and the rat. So there you have it. That concludes my review. Actually, one thing I should mention is the modular system. So the Great Hall is able to sit above Snape's classroom, as advertised in this poster right here. Though both of these sets are meant to go above the Chamber of Secrets set that comes out the following year. Which makes sense because they have the dungeons and beneath the castle, yada yada yada. And I like that. Yeah, I just thought I'd mention that. Because I promised I was going to talk about the modular system, and there you go. Anyway, that concludes my set review. This is one of my longest LEGO set reviews I've ever made. Not nearly as long as the Batcave set review from 2006, but this is quite up there. I would say this is a great set to collect. If you're just getting one Harry Potter set, at least from the old days, this is one of the ones to collect. In fact, this has pretty much everything you would need from the old sets. Like, Professor Quirrell is probably the only character you're really missing, and maybe an actual Harry Potter variant with the traditional starry cape. And, like, casual variants of the Golden Trio and that, but you pretty much have everyone besides Quirrell. And, like, in terms of scenes, you don't have, like, the potions classroom and the defenses for the stone, like Fluffy, chess scene, the mirror. But this is most of the package deal, pretty much. And I got this at a decently good price online as well. Like, not even $200. Like, these sets are much easier to get than the LEGO Batman 2006 to 2008 sets. I'll give it that. Like, not necessarily cheap, these sets, but if you can get a good deal, yeah, they're a lot easier to get and a lot more common to find. So I would recommend picking them up. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.